Who is online? Hello? Who is here already? It's like I'll start giving out gifts for the first people that join our training live. Okay, let me get my other gadgets so that I can be seeing people who are joining live. Okay, who are joining, first people that are joining. I think I have to be giving out gifts. Hello, if you're already here, please can you type on the chat box your name and your location, where you're joining us from. And if you're in our lateral group on WhatsApp, okay, I can see a comment already. Nice one. Classic Tale. Wow. Angelo from Asaba. Angelo, how you doing? I believe you're doing very good. Good to see you here. Good to see you. Okay. All right. I'm seeing another comment. Oh, okay. Yeah. Nice one. All right. Last week we had an amazing section with our MD, Mr. Benedict Obiajulu, and it was a very, very awesome section. And he gave an assignment. I believe that many of us who joined live did the assignment that he gave. All right. So he talked about so many things. Last week, and I believe that we still have the things he taught. He talked about how to predict your income. He talked about predictable income formula, consistency plus pipeline plus follow up. He talked about relationship capital and referral. A lot that he talked about last week, and I believe that we all have okay, someone okay. All right, that's beautiful. I believe we all are here to learn from his wealth of knowledge again today. So I'm going to be bringing him up very,
very,
very
very
soon.
soon.
And he's
And
here
he's here
already.
already.
So
So
welcome
welcome
on
on
Sir
Sir
Benedict
Benedict
Obiajulu.
Obiajulu.
Yeah, good evening, everyone.
Good
How are
Good
evening,
you?
evening,
sir.
sir.
I would always like to have feedbacks if you're on this call. I want you to please state your name and where you're chatting from so that we can move ahead today, okay? Because the beauty of what we do is that you're looking at the phone, you're looking at the laptop. You need to be sure that there are people somewhere that hearing you and understanding you. So it helps me feed up the vibe that there are little people listening and I'm not just talking to myself. Okay, so please put up your name and where you're chatting from and where you're joining us from. Okay, because in our world is diverse, and the beauty of the world is that some are in daytime and some are in nighttime, right? So, okay, Adobe, good evening. Adobe Surprise, my name is Catherine, Integrity Landlady, chatting from Asaba. Okay, are these the only two people on this call? Participation is beautiful because I know in the army, or in the force, everywhere in the force, and you're undergoing what we call parade, they will tell you that talking is part of parade, that if you don't talk, you will not learn the parade. So if they say, pressure, attention, or things like that, and you don't talk, you just do it, later on, when they are giving instructions, you will not be able to follow suit. So when you get instruction, you should respond back. Okay, so Adobe chatting from Bauchi, Integrity Landlady from Asaba. So others and most of us that are on this call, let's remember to share the link and bring more persons into here. Okay, so greetings to everyone from my base. Today we're going to learn something spectacular. Uh, and that is it. Okay. Today, last week, we looked at some beautiful, beautiful concepts. But no matter how beautiful a concept is, if you don't use it to run, it's not going to beautify your life. I think last week I said that the beauty of knowledge is that you can use it to produce a good life, right? So if it doesn't produce, it's not beautiful. Hope we get it. So it's always important that we know that these things we learn and are useful when we use them, because our goal is to be useful to the world so that we can be paid for our usefulness. Right? So perpetual welcome or Esther from Lagos. Beautiful Adobe from Bauchi. A lot of persons all over. Treasure from Asaba. Somto from Asaba. Oh, beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. Okay. And so I hope we learned things last week. Don't mind me. It's the weather is here. It's trying to affect me, but I'm okay. So we have last week we dealt with some concepts. This week we're going to deal with later in the section. We're going to spend maybe 30, 35 minutes and I will let us to rest, right? Again. So now, most of the times, remember what I've just said in starting of the section, that the beauty of what we learn is our ability to use them. So let's not be, because we're really in the era where information is rampant, right? But what changes things is action. So today is going to be because I'm thinking that I've overlaid us with a lot of knowledge. We know so many things, and we should be producing 10 times more than we are. So we're looking at 10xing your real estate sales in 90 days. So how do we do that? We had a template last week, right? We gave assignments, right? So from here, we're building on that template. And what is it? In Nigeria now, there's something we call land rush, right? Land rush, land rush. Everybody wants to get a piece of land. Look left, look center. There's a land rush, right? People are buying more lands than they were doing before. So, and the smart ones are cashing out. There would always be a rush at every point in time. There used to be California rush. There used to be gold rush. There used to be oil rush, right? So, having this concept in mind, so, and this income, when it has to do with land rush, how do you get the income? How do you get the big chunk of the income? The income is tied to influence and consistency. Who do you know? If you don't know people to buy, how can you position yourself that you can create influence? Because everything will rise, right? Everything has the capacity to rise. Example, we all rose to this age. We all rose to who we are, right? Some of us couldn't operate a phone. 20 years ago, none of us could operate a phone because there was no phone to operate, or maybe not 20, yeah, 20, 2005, there was phone, maybe 30 years ago, right? So you rose to be able to operate a phone. So everything will rise. So that's in that concept, right? Oh, Stephen from Ngobala, beautiful. And two, imagine earning 5 to 10 million monthly. Now, you might think is an afterthought, but it's not really an afterthought. If you are in the business of the era, you are more suited to succeed. Yes, if you are in the business of the era, you are more suited to succeed. That is where influence and consistency will pay you. Remember when they talk about our current billionaires, they will tell you they were in oil and gas 20, 30 years ago, and some of them when we discovered oil in Nigeria. And that's the dynasty businesses we have in Nigeria, right? So that is it. So it's about needing knowing that there's a system, strategy, and a strong mindset. I will say it again. System, strategy, and strong mindset. System, strategy, and strong mindset. Okay, the beauty of what we learn is our ability to use them, yeah, and consent from a server. Now, the three sales funnel, does this really make sense? I gave a background introduction. I told us that there's a land rush. And for every rush, what would determine the winners is what? Is influence and consistency. And the biggest play winners per time are the people that are doing the business of the rush. Yes, there was gold rush, there was oil rush, there was a time that all the big boys were in contract, right? So that is it. Was it 3 or 4 months ago? They published an article that real estate has surpassed or in GDP, right? So that tells you where you are, and it's influence and consistency that will do. And influence is built. Consistency is when you are consistent in using this muscle to do exercise, it gets bigger, right? So consistency toughens you and achieves result. There's a quote I love. It said, "To Onyebuchi from Onitsha." Oh, I forgot going back to Onitsha, right? There is a quote I like, and it says that you just keep doing something, and tomorrow you look back, everything had changed, right? And that's what consistency can do, or that your influence on that. So we're going to look at quickly 3M sales formula, right? Our goal is to 10x our income. And so we're looking at mindset, market knowledge, and momentum. The other time in house, I was teaching my people about momentum, right? About momentum. So today we're going to demystify that further. So you are not just um, a salesperson, you're a wealth advisor. You play in the same market with those that are selling shares, right? Because nobody wants to eat shares. The same way nobody wants to eat land, right? You're in the same market with the people that are selling the capital market, the people that are selling investments, because it's investments that we're selling, right? So you don't just see yourself as an ally, don't just see yourself as a realtor, see yourself as a real time land wealth advisor. You're using land, you're advising people on how they can use land to create generational wealth. Okay, so you must know that. So let's start with the first M, mindset. Remember, we talked about mindset, market knowledge, and momentum. Those three things determine how you're able to go from A to Z in a very short time, right? So believe that every Nigeria deserves to own land. Most people will tell you no, and people are looking for what to eat from the days of your forefathers, huh? To the days that my great grandson will go to the great beyond. People would keep looking for what to eat. But some persons will keep creating abundance. Do you understand? It doesn't get easier, it just gets better. It doesn't. You're welcome, Mr. Charles. Welcome. It's nice to have you. So it doesn't get better. Let nobody deceive you. Okay? And most times when you have not traveled outside the country, you think that it's greener somewhere else. They're just deceiving you. I can tell you that. There are a lot of opportunities down in where we live because there's a lot of problems. Okay, so let's secure generational wealth for your family. You don't go about telling people to come and buy land. Yes, we know that the ultimate goal of them is to come and buy land, but nobody wakes up in the morning thinking of land. They're only thinking about themselves. They're thinking of how their life can be better. So how can what you say make that life better? That is the message. That is your message. And know that people need their life to be better. Joseph, welcome. Chinedu, welcome. It's a beautiful day. Let's make it a great one. right? So our input and actions for the day makes it. The day comes with good promises, right? But our actions make it great. That's why it's the day is great. The day is good, but we're making a great one, right? So, and we making this a great one is our ability to put what we have learned into action. So, do you believe that people should just no, people just remember people do things for their own reasons, but within their own reasons, you nobody wakes up with a reason. We came in empty, with empty score, right? Tabula rasa, meaning empty. So you should know that what you tell people and how you present your points are the defining line between are you going to succeed with this industry or are you going to make a play out of it. Remember, is influence and consistency. Is influence and consistency. Okay? Go around letting people come, let's collaborate. Nobody wants to be forced an opinion on. Remember, don't go and say, come and buy land, come and buy land. No, you have no business with that kind of law. Your cliche is the mindset of what you're selling. You're building generational wealth. You're helping people get money at a discount. You're helping people pay for their medical bills when they're 80. You're helping them pay for their child school fees when they're 60, when they're 50. That's what you're doing. So it's about collaboration. It's about working together, right? So, Honest from Anambra, welcome. Oh, Pastor Chinedu, welcome. Now, that is what you are doing. Remember that. Always remember that. There is nothing differential about that. Now, secondly, you must have what we call market knowledge. Market knowledge. What sells um, a property in London and what sells a property in Lagos and what sells a property in Asaba and Onitsha are different because there's something would always say real estate is a local business, right? And funny enough, the survey plan that is issued in Anambra and the survey plan that is issued in Asaba is far, far different, right? And when you look at them, the Anambra one looks like a receipt, the Onitsha own. So invariably, you now see it's really a local business. So there are different things that drive them, but they're still the same. But I'm just trying to use that to give a real life example. Okay, know the value of what you are selling. When you're selling Onitsha, mostly you're selling commerce. When you're selling across the Niger, mostly you're selling security, you're selling lifestyle. Mostly, you're selling lifestyle, you're selling security, you're selling an ambience, you're selling a home away from home, depending on who the buyer is, right? You're selling higher rents, right? So those are what you're selling. So you need to know in economic terms and in non-economic terms, and in emotional terms and in non-emotional terms. Do focusing more on the emotional terms because people buy for their reasons and their reasons are emotional. They now justify with logic. Is the red tire, right? So local benefits. So what are the local benefits of the area? So what is the title? What is the security? Does it have access to road? Does it have ROI? But remember, having all this, now when I mean ROI, I mean return on investment. Now, because there are two classes of investors. Your goal is not to sell to possessors. Yes. If you sell to possessors, they buy one plot. Where would they build their house? They buy one plot. When you sell to an investor, his interest is ROI, return on investment. If I put 100 million in this estate and I buy 30 plots, right? And I buy 10 plots. His interest is in 10 years, in 20 years, what is the value of this place? That is his interest. And so such persons can keep buying year to year to year because you know what? He has a plan for his life. And you, as a wealth advisor, you should look at people's payslip, you should look at people's businesses, see how they're doing, and with your eyes and you can say, oh, this guy can afford to be buying, putting down 20 million per year in properties. And let me tell you, I know bankers, I know top business moguls that every year they have a stipulated amount of money they put on investments. and land is statutory. It's basic. Land is basic. You know how you go to church and your pastor will tell you your paying tithe is basic. In the journey to wealth, only land is basic. It's basic. It's basic. It's a basic phenomenon. If you don't own it, you shouldn't be thinking of going up there. Okay, Jenny Simon from Asaba. Welcome. Welcome. All right. So that is basic. Know what is basic and know what is not basic. Okay. So now most people don't know that they should draw up that. Now it can also be a younger person that is starting up life and he can start with one plot a year. Is that okay? So title, security, access road. What is the ROI potential? And then what is the unique offering of what you are selling as against market competition? What is the unique? Now, you have to sit down and analyze, okay, this project, what does it come with? We have a new project that is coming up, very excited about it, right? So it's called Obasnachi Courtyard. The gatehouse is almost completed, and the fencing was in a startup. And we have not even thought of launching, doing a pre-launch on the property, right? So when the estate hits the market, it's no longer in the range of the estate gate will be done, the fencing will be done. Is it no? You're not discussing that business. You're discussing, oh, if you buy now, can you get your allocation in 1 minute? Right? That's what you're discussing. Or can you get your allocation in 1 day, in 2 days? Or how fast can you get it? How fast can you move from A to B and shorten that? That's the cost, right? We are discussing, oh, if I buy 10 plots and can you start building the legacy you want to build for your family by owning the street? Because you bought 10 plots or you bought an acre, the street will be named after you. That's what we're discussing. So invariably, what is the unique offering of the project? Obasanajin currently is in a luxury, is in what do we call it? Is in an industrial hub, right? It's an industrial hub close to the city. And then there's something I was last week when I was in Lagos, there was something that was on my mind. And so I was discussing with a bold guy that was carrying me, and he was telling me how he was carrying me from LBS to was carrying me from Lagos Business School to VI. And he was telling me how Lagos Business School area, the Sangotedo area, all those areas were not livable some years ago, and how people say that place was extremely far. And then, but today people live far, far beyond there, and they feel that that place is down, and you cannot even get a piece of land there at a price it feels that it's affordable. But for me, I know the price still is still affordable compared to the price in 5 years' time, right? And he said something. He said, I asked him, you remember when those cities were not there? So we're discussing something, but the ball of the question is the city that has not peaked is more powerful than the city that has peaked. You get what I'm trying to say now? Because we are trying to compare. There were a lot of places that we were trying to compare that places with. Okay, somewhere like Onitsha, for instance, somewhere that is close to you, and oh, let me use Asaba. Now, somewhere like in the city of Asaba, you see somewhere like Opanam Road. When Opanam Road was a bush, Grand Hotels and their likes and NABC were the king, right? They were the central area, right? Why those places has not peaked? Now they have peaked, right? And Opanam Road seems to be the king in Asaba. But do you know that there will be better roads, there will be better cities within the city in 10 years? Now, so that those are the kind of things that Obasanachi offers, right? Because in a developing city, in a growing city, there is no center. There is a center, but there's no permanent center. That's what I mean by there's no center, right? So the same thing was we were discussing in Lagos, and you see newer cities came up. That's newer settlements, right? Newer locations came up and outperformed the old base. Okay, So always know that, right? So know what is your unique offering, or is he paying for inspection? Is he paying for his documentations? Those are the things you must know. And we offer those documents for free. Okay, Albert, welcome, welcome, welcome. About welcome. Yeah, people buy for a reason, and their reason is most times emotional. Investors buy for ROI, while possessors will buy to own. Right? Yes, that's correct. And your goal in life is to be an investor. Because without being an investor, you cannot live beyond your life. You would think that everything ends and be lives just like your village, right? There are places in London that even by 3 in the night, everywhere is bright. Yes, right. Yeah, that's why most of them go for they work 24 hours. But you will say no, it once it's night, everywhere will be dark, right? So things don't operate based on how you see it. Don't live your life thinking of, oh, am I going to live there? And so that's not also how you talk to your investors. Understand that most people come from the possessor part of life. So your job is to let them know they are not here to be a possessor. They are here to be an investor, so they can lay the foundation for the life that they didn't have, for their next family to have that. Okay. So the third M is momentum. I think over the weekend we discussed something about momentum, right? And I think that was with in-house team, and we talked about momentum and how momentum will catch on with consistency, right? And so remember, first is mindset, market knowledge, and momentum. Remember, in this call, I said something that is a quote I love. And what is the quote? That if you keep doing something consistently over time, you will look back and you'll see that everything has changed. So it catches up to momentum, right? Every time you're doing a little as it is, you take a 10 minutes walk every day. The first time is difficult, second time is difficult. By the time you're at the 30th time, the 10 minutes feels like water. You want to do 1 hour, right? And that is it, right? So what is your daily plan? What drives momentum? What really drives momentum? One is your daily plan. Remember, we said your actions, with your not just with your actions, with your routine. If you set up a new routine for yourself, you can reroute your life. You can reroute your life, right? So if you continue on that course, and I remember the day I said that, I said I used Schwarzenegger, the guy that was a weightlifter. He had a lot of careers. He was a weightlifter. He was an actor, and he was a politician. He ended up as the governor of California. Those revolved different what do we call it, different routines, because routines determine where your life will be. So if you show me your routine, I can tell you where you'll be in 5 years. So if you look at your routine very well, you can know where you'll be in 5 years. So what's your routine, right? So today, I gave assignment last week. Today we're going to look at what have you done with that assignment, and how has it helped you, right? So today, daily plan: 5 actions a day. 5 actions a day equals to 150 actions per month, equals to minimum 3 deals per day, per month, right? So 5 follow-up calls, 5 prospects. You get 5 people's number, 5 WhatsApp posts or story, 5 old clients reactivation, 5 real estate posts. And then I can repeat it. Decide to take 5 actions a day, because every man take, every man works. Remember that. The lazy guy, he works, right? He does a kind of work, right? But the differentiator is knowledge. You have the knowledge, so you have to put the effort, right? Knowledge is the differentiator, we know. But now you have this knowledge of how you're going to go about working. If you go about scrolling in your phone, you will still be tired at the end of the day, right? You go around walking around the market, doing it the conventional ways that others have done it. to produce their own result, or you will still be tired. Right? If you go around doing it the new way, you will still be tired. That's what I'm trying to say. If you go about doing it the future way that we have not even known, you will still be tired. So invariably, every man works, but the differentiator is the knowledge that empowers the work. The differentiator is knowledge, right? So invariably, 5 follow-up calls, 5 new prospects per day. So you are anxious to how are you, how is your name, and you pick a number. That's what you want to do. You show interest, and then they reciprocate the interest, and you pick a number. 5 WhatsApp story posts per day. 5 old clients activation. Maybe they have not bought, maybe they have bought. I will get back to you. Class of persons, people that are waiting, are building up money. Because most of the time when they say I will get back to you, what you're selling is not a product that people have the money in their house. Most people have it, but 90% of our clients don't. They have to save that. Some save it for 10 years, right? So real estate fund posts. Then you must learn to track your performance, right? In a growing city, there is no center because the city, okay, operation says in a growing city, there is no center because the city keeps moving. Oh, Immaculata, welcome. The city that has not peaked is more powerful than the city that has peaked. Yes, that is correct. In a growing city, there is no center. The center today will certainly be overtaken. Yes, my guy. Know what your unique offerings are and push them out, yeah, and present them. So invariably, if you do this daily, you'll be able to get momentum. And when momentum sets in, right? Because when you're taking off just like a plane, you meet resistance. But that's why most plane crashes are as the plane is taking off, right? Once it's up there, forget it. It's coming down, right? Just very rare do they have um yeah, what do you call it? Um, Catastrophic moment while gliding. Or the second time is when coming down. So remember, if you do these 5 things, you'll be able to gain momentum. And when the momentum is there, victory is certain and it will shine like the brightness of the morning. So good evening, everyone. And I want to end this call here because I have a couple of meetings to attend to. And I really hope we're able to, we got value and we're going to use it to implement a better life. I'll be happy to see us next Tuesday. And Charity, please take over from here. I wish I could call one of us up so that we could rub minds and be sure that despite we had a short section, but we're able to get the value of of our time, which happens to be our most precious commodity on earth. Yes, if you set up a new routine and you can practice it, you will reroute your life. Yes, that's correct, Steve. Very correct. So, everyone, it's nice being here. I enjoyed myself on this section, and I hope we did. Cheers. Charity,
Thank
over
you,
to you.
sir. We did. Thank you for your time. Thank you for pouring out your heart. Thank you for teaching us from the depth of your knowledge. We appreciate. Please, everyone, write on the comment section what stood out for you, what you learned differently today. I believe you learned something, and just write it on the comment section. And if you're here, you've not liked this video, I don't know what you're waiting for. Please click on the like button, the thumbs up there. It doesn't take anything to do that. Just click on it. Let's get a 20 like. The reason we are doing this is because YouTube will help us share this video to other people who are interested in what we are doing. So just click on the thumbs up button. And if you've not subscribed and you're here, please kindly subscribe on our YouTube channel so that you can be getting more of this value that you've gotten today. All right. And also turn on the notification button so that you'll be first person to be notified each time we come online. All right. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you for being part of our journey. I want to remind you that if you are in the city of Asaba or Onitsha or anywhere close to this area, our our training, offline training is usually every Friday by 11 a.m. Come around and get more value than you ever imagined. Thank you and do have a good night rest, everyone. All right. Do have a good night rest. Enjoy the rest of the day.